Alrighty, so I finally hit, that's not the right thing, I finally hit Legendary 6. However, we've got more important things to talk about. I'll probably talk about the whole LR6 grind in the next video. But last night, I was just getting a little silly with my friend. I was just unveiling some Rivens. Still got a fair bit of capacity left. I've not spent any plat on extra capacity. And I was getting some stuff, Coda Bassosis. I think I got another Pox Riven. Yeah, I've got two now. I got Cerberus Riven. I got Vesper Riven. Was getting actually some decent things. Actually a Victus Riven. And then I came across, well, literally the first Riven I unveiled actually was a Furis Riven. Now the initial roll was not that good. It was like reduced multi-shot, but increased crit damage and fire rate, I think is what it was. I tried it out with an Aqua D build. It was whatever. But then I re-rolled it a few times and this is what I got. This is insane. And my friend is like a big Furis fan too, so this is just even more hilarious. Got increased crit chance, crit damage, status chance, and minus zoom. So the negative really does not matter at all. And really all Furis needs is more status chance. I mean, the weapon's a status hose, but extra crit chance and crit damage, sure, why not? Crit damage do be pretty good of it. And extra crit chance, yeah, sure. Literally when I was unveiling the Rivens, my friend said to like do a pistol one, like go ahead and unbox a Ballistica Riven right off the bat. I was like, oh yeah, I got you. And then that Furis one popped up. I just thought, oh, close enough, right? It didn't even take that many rerolls too. What was that, 12 I think? And Furis is great to have a Riven for because it's got 5 dispo. And my friend unboxed like 3 Sickris Rivens, so she gave one of them to me. I gotta go to Wisp over here, not Ureli, because Ureli does secondary buffing things. But just quickly showing the builds I have for Furis. I guess I should show the evolutions first. So obviously, first one, there's only one. For the second one, I actually go with the electricity status one. Overshields are not exactly common. It is a little bit more frame specific. If you want to go with this, I think it works completely fine, but I just go with this because you can still somewhat proc it. If you're running Shock Trooper, it'll be easy to proc. I do actually kind of plan on doing a Ureli build with Shock Trooper, but also you can run like secondary Encumber that will occasionally proc electricity, and then you get the extra multi-shot. And with the amount of status chance this weapon has, I mean, it's bound to happen pretty regularly. Then the third evolution, I just go with base magazine capacity. There are 2, increased accuracy, chance for instant reload, and that's kind of whatever. And then the third one, we just go with the increased status chance because status chance is very pog. Preload of Might, we don't really have the crit chance to proc it. And then Headcracker definitely could go with that. I think I prefer the increased status chance. So looking at the builds, I used to have Lethal Torrent over here, but now it's replaced by this Furis Riven. And so now with our stats in the incarnate form, we've got 127% crit chance, 11.1 crit damage, and 220% status chance. And of course, the weapon's just viral heat in this case, so we're very likely to proc both of those statuses. Probably could get rid of Galvanized Shot. I still like it though. I mean, increased status chance and you get the extra damage. It still is nice. Then we just go with Flare because it's probably the best arcane. Definitely gives the most damage. It's better than secondary Deadhead or secondary Merciless. But again, if you want to run with Encumber, which I have over here, it's literally the same mods. I just run Encumber instead. This allows for the electricity status to occasionally happen for the multi-shot. Now, if you're going to try to mod for electricity, you could do that and then throw on Conjunction Voltage, which will just grant even more multi-shot and a little bit reload speed too. So that is actually an option. It can be kind of fun to run with. And then I have this Irradiate build. Now I've been testing around with this quite a bit, just figuring out different mod configs for it. I decided to land on this. I think it's been the best so far. We still get our viral and heat. That's really useful to have. And then radiation, we just use accelerated isotope. We get a little bit more fire rate for that. And then the irradiate damage is affected by the plus damage mod. Now you could definitely mod or forma this properly to actually run Hornet Strike instead. It's just with the way forma works out, I kind of have to run Augur Pact instead, because if I try to forma this around differently, then I probably won't be able to run my other builds like normal. I mean, maybe if I go like another Moderize slot, maybe that will work then. Although I'm still gonna have 2 mods that are just not proper. I could go with an Omni Forma, that is true. Maybe I'll do an Omni Forma eventually. I could just throw one right here instead. But I was thinking also for Irradiate builds, you could definitely run Smite. the subsume, which is Oberon subsume, and with that comes Smite Infusion. I guess I'll show it really quickly. It's the same as Venom Dose and Shock Trooper, but it's for radiation, so this would probably help out to proc Irradiate a little bit more regularly. With this build, it is sometimes hard to proc Irradiate because the enemies just die before they get the 10 stacks. But the status chance is not awful with this. It still is a 35% chance to proc Irradiation. And of course we've got 2.1 multi-shot, so that helps out even more. I guess just quickly showing this, we'll start off with the Flare build. This is definitely the best one. And of course with the My Zoom, our zoom really does not go in very far. It's sometimes jarring, but zoom does not really matter all that much. So enemy dies really quickly just to base shots. And then once we actually use the incarnate form, I mean, it's a status hose. It really just shreds all the enemies. It's almost hard to tell the difference even between the Riven and Lethal Torrent, because Fierce Incarnate is just already so good. Now that we have it procced up a little bit, got the Galvanized mod procced, I mean, it just mows through all the enemies. You don't even really have to aim all that much. You can kind of just treat it like Ignis Wraith. Just aim in their general direction and they'll die. You can probably just more so tap it. I mean, with just a little tap, yeah. Let's hear just a little tap, and yeah, that takes care of them just fine. I really do like this change to the bars showing how status damage works. Yeah, that's insane. So there's Flare. Let me show Irradiate now. It definitely does not work as well as a Flare setup, but it still has some potential, of course. So just base form, it works alright. The base form of Furis is not that insane. It still is alright. Definitely once you get the Galvanized mods procced up, it works a bit better. But now when we have the Incarnate mode and we just spew out all the shots, you can see other enemies take damage. And since we still have Viral, it still procs up pretty well. Because without Viral, I was definitely struggling to do damage to just single targets. Actually, I think I had Viral, but I didn't have Heat, or I had something else, but it wasn't working as well. But now this, I mean, this is still pretty decent. Like, that is pretty good. Yeah, I think it's only going to get more effective at higher levels because you're not going to melt the enemies as fast. So Irradiate becomes a little bit more useful. Oh wow, Irradiate actually spreads the other status effects. Okay, I never knew that. So yeah, that's definitely a lot better than to have Viral and Heat, because before I don't think I had Viral or Heat on at all, or maybe I had just Radiation and Heat, or just Viral and Radiation, something like that. And the damage per shot on the enemies was about 6,000 from the Irradiate procs, but this is definitely working a lot better now. So Irradiate does spread the other status effects. That's good to know, actually, because I never knew that. Wonder if I can run a Smite Infusion build on Mesa with her regulators. Only problem is her regulators do not have that much status chance. I would love to run Irradiate on Mesa, but I would need a better ability for proc and radiation and getting specifically to the times 10 stacks. Now showing Encumber, this still works alright. It's definitely not as good as Flare still, but hey, I mean, it's something different to run with. It's a little bit fun still. Galvanized Shot definitely gets a bit more use out of this, but you can see the enemies, they still do get mowed down a fair bit. Like, that's still not bad. And Galvanized Shot, again, doing a lot more work. I mean, Furious is just already so good. And of course, it's only going to get more insane if we use outside buffs like Roar, for example. And of course, Yoreli is a great secondary buffer. Well, let me throw Poggy back on my Wisp before I accidentally forget, which I do gotta say, this does get a little bit more insane because Poggy I normally have on Reinforced Bond, which gives us more fire rate. There goes my dog again. So now just showing how all of this works with Yoreli, because Yoreli has her passive, which grants additional crit chances just for moving, extra 200%. I do believe it is additive, so just starting off with Flare, which also for my early, I should say. These are builds I typically run. Neutron Star is probably my favorite. You get extra damage reduction. It also primes enemies with heat status. It also procs Arcane Hotshot. And then of course I have Precision on as well because extra damage go Bert. Got this Roar build, which has Aegis instead, still Precision. Roar, of course, still big damage increase. And I've actually got this Evade build, which procs Arcane Crepuscular. So I guess we'll go ahead and try out all three of these. I think I've only really tried out the Neutron Star one with this. So again, just showing Flare. Let's see how this works. I'm not even going to really use Neutron Star yet. Oh, I forgot to also mention I have 3 heat crit shards on Yoreli. I definitely could go to 5 if I wanted to, but 3 is just what I normally go with. I think the other 2 are just like health and shield capacity. But so just moving around, and we're not gonna have our heat shards still all the way procced up, but hey, I mean, this is still pretty good. Let me go ahead and get my heat shards all the way procced up. It takes 50 kills to do so. So we do start to get to the red crit tiers now on this Furis, which was definitely not happening before, at least not too often, unless I'm doing a ton of buffing. And to be fair, he really does do a lot of buffing. All right, so now we're at our maximum stacks. 225% is what it should be. It just shows 224%. And so now with just all this, I mean, we do get some occasional red crits. Flare gets built up, and yeah, enemies just evaporate. Of course, that's not as far as we can go. So again, just quickly building up Incarnate and then going with Neutron Star to proc Arcane Hotshot. Now it just does even better. And of course, I don't even really have to like actually focus on enemies that much. I can just really hose around. It really works almost like Ignis, because like this guy's already dead, he just doesn't even know it. Yep, there we are. And now just showing the same build with Irradiate instead. Let's see how this works. Again, I have to build up the stacks. The problem with this build is that I start to do so much damage that I can't even really properly proc Irradiate. I really need tankier enemies. I wish that you could get higher level enemies in Simulacrum. Why can't I go to 1000 at least? There probably should be more levels per rank that you are, because really 235 is just not enough. Alright, I think we're built up now. Yeah, okay, let's see how this does. So again, Hotshot is proc, and yeah, I mean, it works well. That is pretty good. Now let me just see how this roar build works out. We're not quite proccing Hotshot. That is fine though. I can still get the rest of my buffs active. Always just takes a moment to get it set up. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about precision coming into play too. Wonder if this has got to be better than Ballistica now, right? Ballistica probably is like a top 3 Incarnate though. I mean, I've been messing around with it a little bit more. It's kind of insane. It really is a feels bad though for Lex Prime, because the Lex Incarnate I thought was still already pretty good, and Ballistica basically does the same thing but better. Wait, am I procced up now? Okay, I am. So let's hear. Now we'll just get Roar active. I do have growing power on, so yeah, okay. Do that. We got 72% for Roar, and it definitely could go higher if I wanted to. So let's see how this does. I mean, yeah, it's almost going so fast that you're hardly seeing the difference between each one. It's like instead of one-shotting them, you're half-shotting them. Let's see how Evade does. We do get a little bit more strength, but more importantly, the plus 3x final crit damage. So our final crit damage should be 14.1x. So let's hear, what does this do? I just, again, gotta build up everything. Oh, I never tried Irradiate with the Roar. I'm sorry. I'll try it after this. Although, again, I don't know if Radiation is going to proc enough. Alright, let's see here. Wait, do I already have the Irradiate build on? What am I running right now? Am I running Irradiate? I think I am. Okay, we've got to be procced up now, right? No, almost. Alright, 202%. Alright, now we're procced up. So it's your Evade, and we'll see how this goes. And of course, looking pretty dang standard as usual. Just all getting melted. Now, let's see, was that Irradiate or was that my other? Oh, that was Irradiate. Okay. Alright, so maybe I did show Irradiate on Roar. But anyway, just wanted to show off that Riven a little bit, because Furis Incarnate is hilarious, and having a Furis Riven is just even more hilarious. 5 Riven Dispo, that's insane. Now I also got a Sickris Riven too, because my friend traded it with me, because she already has 2 more. It is this right now. Crit chance and crit damage. Maybe I'll try to re-roll it a little bit, see if I can hit the lottery again. But if you do have any pistol ribbons to try out, it's probably going to be Lethal Torrent that gets taken off. Eye roll and heat are still just really important. Multi-shot and galvanized shot still also really important. And then of course you want your crit mods. So Lethal Torrent is probably the one to go. You really don't need a Riven though for most weapons, especially secondaries. I mean, most of the secondary mods already are just insane. I wish some primary weapon mods could be the same level as the secondaries. Same with the secondary arcanes. I feel like there's quite a few that are actually pretty interesting. Cascadia Empowered is still pretty decent actually. Obviously Flare is insane. Overcharge is pretty fun to run with. It is a little bit frame specific, or you just need pillage, just some way of getting over shields. Conjunction voltage is pretty fun, but there is primary blight for primaries. Irradiate has been really fun, innervate is great, encumber's pretty good. I don't really see the point of dexterity. You do get the combo duration though. Okay, never mind. Merciless is still easy. I mean, just flare though, just go with flare. Outburst can definitely have some fun shenanigans. Accuracy is probably whatever. Fortifier can be pretty good. Secondary shiver, again, I don't think this is too good, especially with flare existing. Wait, why do I have deadhead on my Sicarus? I just realized that. I should just go with flare. What? Alright, anyway, just wanted to show off this Riven. It's pretty good. Riven still could probably use a rework, if I'm just being honest, or at least some sort of changes. But when they do hit big, it is pretty fun, I gotta say it. Anyway, that's all I gotta say for now, so I'll see you all whatever I do next.